I love seeing your head go like this when you're like, when the stinger's going and you're like, oh, I'm so happy.
It doesn't go with our other music at all, but I really do like that.
No, it's very uplifting. It's actually, one of the things we're going to talk about is how music can affect your mood and stuff.
That's right, Jeffrey. Today,
I'm totally out of topic. Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're doing great. Today on the Saturday segment, we are going to be talking about biohacking, and we're going to talk about some of the things Jeff and I do, and then some of the things we don't do that we should be doing and that you all can do too right after this. Jeffrey.
I like that music too.
I do too. I know they don't go together at all, but it all makes you happy.
Yeah, it's true. It's all about being happy and uplifting. Yeah. Do I look thinner?
You do look thinner because you have what?
Because I've been working out.
And have lost.
Oh yeah, like 20 pounds this year actually.
This year, you guys, it's only February 6th, and Jeffrey has already lost 20 pounds.
Not quite 20. It's actually like 18, but we're getting really close to 20.
So some of the obvious things are like, hey, eat well, exercise. I'm going to move my microphone a little bit here. Eat well, sure. Exercise. But we want to talk about biohacking and some quick tips that we've learned.
Yeah, things that have worked for us, things that we've worked for other people we know, people in the group, stuff like that. So what's the first one, Jillian?
The first one is if you're having problems with dieting, try just an elimination diet where you eliminate one food. You don't know what it's going to do to you. Maybe it will stop the bloating. Maybe it will stop your breakouts. Maybe it will just make you feel better. You'll have less fatigue.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, so the way this works is most people actually don't eat that many foods. Like, I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, Jillian, but like most people only eat about, a dozen or so foods on a repeating basis. Yeah, I mean, you go out to eat and you might get something different, but like at home, most people just make the same stuff over and over again. There might be 10, 12 meals or whatever. So if there's something in your diet, like maybe you're like me and you got fat because you love chocolate chip cookies. So you ate chocolate chip cookies every day for breakfast. If you just give up chocolate chip cookies, it can make a huge difference if that's the only thing you change. And that's how an elimination diet works. Correct.
And so I need to eliminate pizza from my diet. I've been eating pizza. I just ate a piece of pizza. This is how dumb I am. I went out, I went running. I come home, I walk in my house and I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty. I start drinking water and my husband pulls out pizza that he just heated up out of the oven. And instead of being like the good kid that I should have been and get some celery and hummus, I ate the pizza. So I'm going to eliminate pizza.
I'm not a celery fan, but I love carrots and hummus. And then another thing I really love is cucumber slices and hummus.
Oh, that does sound good.
It's really, really good. But no, so, the elimination diet that I've been doing is I gave up alcohol. And I think that's made a huge difference. The only thing I got rid of this year since I, wanted to get healthy. Now, of course, I didn't give it up forever. I gave it up for 40 days. So I'll probably gain all of that weight back like next week. But, at least I lost it first, right? So
I don't think you'll gain it all back, but congratulations on that. And I'll tell you, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, you know what I like to do with cucumbers? You mentioned cucumbers. No, I like to put them in my fridge and then leave them there for 2 weeks and then they rot and then I throw them away.
Oh yeah, no, I do that with most vegetables. I'm really bad about that. That's why we try to buy small quantities of fresh vegetables.
Yeah, my husband just gave me a speech about how I need to stop buying so many vegetables at once, or I need to at least notify him of what vegetables are in the fridge so they can get cooked.
So a quick trick on that, what I do with cucumbers, grapes, any kind of produce that I think is a healthy snack, what I'll do is if I'm going to buy it, I commit to myself that before I put it in the fridge, I'm going to wash it and cut it up.
Yeah, that is a great tip.
That
makes a huge difference.
Yeah, if I have slices of cucumber in my fridge, they never go bad. Like especially if I have hummus, I'm going to be like, I feel like some chips. I'll just grab a cucumber and some hummus. Right. And so I do that with grapes too. Like if I buy a bunch of grapes and I don't immediately take them off the stem and wash them, they all go bad. But if I take them off the stem and wash them, put them in a little Tupperware, I'm good. I can eat them all. So what's the second one, Jillian?
The next thing you can do is you can do meditation. And meditation to me is something that you really like. The reason why they call it practicing meditation is because it truly is a practice. You have to practice it. I love meditating. I know the benefits of it. I try to get my kids to meditate with me. It's a struggle to get kids to meditate. Find the meditation that works for you. There's transcendental meditation. There's a Christian version of transcendental meditation called contemplative prayer that you can try as well. If you look up contemplative prayer on the internet, you can find that Christian-based meditation. And what that basically is you focus on one prayerful word, and you use that as your, mantra. So it might be joy, it might be peace, it might be, maybe a phrase from the Bible, like your favorite Bible phrase you say over and over and over again. And that's how you can do contemplative prayer. Another thing I used to do is the transcendental meditation, Maharishi Yogi, which was, what the Beatles did and what a lot of celebrities do. It's really, you can look up the mantras online. If you just want to look up transcendental meditation mantras and pick one, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just meant to get you focused. And another meditation I used to, two other hacks I used to use for meditation were the Calm app is very good. It's a guided meditation, as well as what was that other one that I used to do? There was another app. It was orange.
I think the other one is the Last Life Ever meditation videos on our YouTube channel. Like, that's probably the very best place to learn how to meditate, is to just watch our meditation videos. Actually, they don't explain how to meditate. They're just literally meditation videos, right? And they're really great. Like, they'll have like a soft music background or like rippling streams and really nice, positive affirmation type stuff, just really soft and calm. And we invented those for the Kind Morning 40. And I used them when I was doing meditation. And another meditation you can do, which I think is really good, is just any kind of silence or prayer. It doesn't have to be anything all that fancy. It can literally be just set an alarm for 5 minutes and just sit there silently for 5 minutes. All right. So what do you think's next, Jillian? Like, and then fasting? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The next hack is intermittent fasting. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I get a little passionate about this stuff because I love intermittent fasting. It does so much for me. Like, it just kind of resets your brain. I skip breakfast. I drink coffee in the morning, and then I don't eat until lunchtime. And I feel like that just sets a nice tone for the day. By the time I have lunch, I really actually appreciate the food more. I'm more mindful about what I eat. So just something to consider. And also, I've lost a lot of weight using intermittent fasting.
No, actually, I also skip breakfast almost every morning, unless I have a breakfast meeting or something like that. But I will say this. I've been talking to my coach, and he's really into health stuff, and he told me that actually it's better to skip lunch than breakfast. That there's a lot of research on that your intermittent fasting can be like from breakfast to dinner, like 8 hours. So you basically get 2 8-hour fast periods, at minimum of 8-hour fast periods, because you get the overnight period, and then you get the in-between period. And the trick is to eat protein and fats at breakfast, and you feel full the whole day, and it causes you not to snack and overeat and things like that. So, but I've been still skipping breakfast, even though that's what they tell me I'm supposed to do. But because it works for me. It works for me just to like get up, have black coffee, do my meditation, do some of my goal setting exercises, and then around lunchtime, or maybe 1 or 2 o'clock usually is when I eat.
Yeah, I love it. So try it out. If you need an accountability partner for your intermittent fasting, you're welcome to reach out to me. You could just private message me on Facebook. I'd love to be your
and with like this one, like all of these 8 tips that we're covering today, is something that it's just about marginal benefit. If you skip a meal here and there, even if you don't do it every day, the calories that you save will add up over time.
So the next one is to use blue light properly. You actually need blue light to regulate your circadian rhythm, but you want to have it at the right times. And it can impact your mood. It can impact your memory, your energy, your general alertness. So you want to be mindful of how you use blue light, not using it too late at night. So Marissa Wilkie made it very clear to us that you really should not be looking at your phone at least 1 hour before you go to bed so that you can get the best night's sleep possible.
Yeah.
And I have not mastered this one. True.
Yeah. No,
I'm
bad at this too.
One.
I'm bad at this too. But Marissa actually, when we interviewed her on the podcast, covered 7 tips to a better night's sleep, and one of them was not using your devices at night. But there were other tips, so if you're doing the other stuff, Jillian, you'd probably be okay. But blue light, very helpful, it can energize you. It's a really great thing. So let's move on to number 5.
So number 5 is music, and
I don't like this one.
I love using music to alter my mood. I have an Alexa right on my desk here. I don't want to say her name because if I say it, then she'll ask me what I want. So, but I have.
Hey Alexa, can you play music? You have headphones on. Yeah.
So, I use just music from that all the time. But another thing that I learned is using certain wavelengths, beta waves, gamma waves, alpha waves, delta waves, and it's just like a noise beneath the music to alter your mood. And I work with a personal trainer at a gym. That was my gift to myself for my birthday. I've been going to a personal trainer at the gym. And she told me to start listening to 432 megahertz sound waves. And I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference. If you're sitting there working and you need to focus, you can look for these waves, and binaural beats is what they're called. So binaural beats, check them out and see if they help you with your focus and overall well-being.
I might have to check that out. I was teasing about hating this one because we were talking about it on the intro. But the truth is, where music really lifts my mood is when there's music playing and then Jillian gets happy and I get to see how happy Jillian is. And then I feel happy because I'm not really that into music unless it's live. I love live music, but I don't really like listening to music otherwise.
I love listening.
But if you go to church and you sing a song, it's always very uplifting for me. So I know this stuff works. It's not my thing.
The next thing is caffeine and using caffeine wisely.
This is a tricky one because we thought they were trying to tell us not to use caffeine when we were first thinking about this and we started researching it. But it turns out that caffeine is actually really good for concentration and energy and performance. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things they used to give caffeine to fighter pilots. Actually, maybe they still do. And this is actually really interesting. Too much caffeine, it affects your sleep. It causes all this negative stuff. But not enough caffeine can actually have consequences as well because this increases focus. And so when you're talking about biohacking, a little bit of caffeine here and there really, really helps. So that's why I drink coffee every morning, because that's the other thing. It has a it has an appetite stabilization in it. Mm-hmm. So drinking coffee and combining that with intermittent fasting makes it so much easier to skip a meal.
It really does. So I like the ritual of having a cup of coffee in the morning more than anything else. So
it's also meditative, right? This stuff all works together. Mm-hmm. Cold therapy. This is one of my favorites, actually.
I know.
The whole thing. So the first of the year, I started hydrotherapy showers. They're called contrast hydrotherapy showers, where you do 3 minutes of hot water and then 30 seconds of as cold as you can stand it. And you're like, but you gotta not tense up, right? Like it first hits you have to just concentrate on being relaxed and like just let the water make you cold for 30 seconds, breathe through it. And then you do that 3 times and you end on cold. Does tons of great stuff for you, though. It helps with circulation. It also stimulates the production of brown fats, right? Which are the fats that burn other fats. So that's really good. It speeds up your metabolism. And it also does things like reduce inflammation. It circulates lymph around your system. So getting exposed to cold could be something as simple as when you wake up in the morning on a cold morning, walking outside without a jacket on. Mm-hmm. Even that helps. So any kind of cold that you can associate. I mean, you don't have to go swimming in a bath of ice. Although when I go to Antarctica, I'm going to try to convince the cruise ship to let me swim in the ocean.
Oh, good luck with that. All right, moving on. So next, sauna. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, we can't all get to a sauna. So there's a couple things you can do. First of all, you could steam up your bathroom, sit in there for a few minutes. One could say that's a waste of water. So maybe you don't want to do that, but that is one thing you can do. The other thing I really like to do, and I make my kids do this, is go outside and sit in the sun for 5 minutes. Just soak up the vitamin D, soak up the rays. It might be difficult now because it's winter most places. Out here in Southern California, you can do that most days. So if you have some sun, if you're in a cold, dark place right now, once the sun comes out, get out there immediately. Get that sun in. It's so beneficial for your health.
And if it's sunny and cold at the same time, it's the best, right? Like you can walk outside in the cold, take some deep breaths of the cold air, but also be sunning yourself because the sun really helps. But you could also take a hot bath, or you get this exposure to cold and heat by taking a really cold, really hot shower, which I was just describing. And all of that stuff helps because, like I said at the beginning of the video, every single one of these is really just about making incremental and marginal improvements. If you're a little bit better at this stuff, you get a little bit healthier. And if you keep getting a little bit healthier over the long time, it makes a huge difference. It's like if you go to the gym once, it doesn't do anything. If you go to the gym 3 days a week for several years, you're going to be really fit. End of story. Even if you just do the treadmill and you just walk on the treadmill in the gym, if you do it every day, it adds up over time. So that's the trick with all this stuff, is just making incremental improvements. So Jillian, what are you going to do? Which one of these are you most excited about?
I'm gonna up my meditation for sure, and I'm gonna do an elimination diet. Like I said, I'm gonna stick to my intermittent fasting. Gonna try to do my blue light. I'm gonna actually put an alarm on, the Alexa or something, and try to get rid of the blue light. And the cold therapy I started doing just this week on your recommendation, so I'm doing that. But I am going to incorporate some of these into the Kind Morning Challenge we're all participating in right now. If you're not familiar with the Kind Morning Challenge, it's a 40-day challenge. We're actually coming up to the end of it, right, Jeff? Where are we?
Yeah. So I started a week ahead of everyone else. So I'm actually, I'm like 6 days. So you guys are like 13 days away from finishing your 40 days.
13 days away.
Yeah. So but people who aren't doing it with us could start today. They could start tomorrow. They could start next week. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just a 40-day commitment. And the idea, and it's been amazing for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's helped me a lot because, I utilize the Kind Morning to do my elimination diet by giving up alcohol. So the Kind Morning works like this. K is for kindness. So K, one random act of kindness every day. I is invest in yourself. And for me, that's been studying, right? So there's the act of kindness, investing in yourself. That's been studying every day, reading nonfiction books, and then specifically working on certain categories of stuff that I want to learn more about. And then the N and the D is for no distractions, or in my case, no drinking. But that would be a great place for you to give up your morning cookie habit if that's what you wanted. And then the morning part is really just creating a morning routine. And that's where things like you do the prayer, the meditation, any of that other stuff, or just going outside in the cold, or drinking that cup of coffee. It can be anything. And for me, that's what my morning routine is. I get up every morning, I get myself some coffee, I sit down, I read over my goals, because I do that every single day. I read them out loud, right? And so I read my goals out loud to myself over a cup of coffee, and then I do my invest in myself for 40 minutes. And so it takes me about an hour every morning to do that morning routine, but it's really great. And I really attribute a lot of that, because there's a little bit of exercise involved in that as well, push-ups and stuff. I think all of that stuff together is why I've been so successful in losing weight this year.
Yeah. So listen, the Kind Morning Challenge is 40 days. Like, we have only 13 days left in this round, but I'm going to commit, Jeff. I know you're done in 6 days. Everybody else is done in 13 days, but this is what I'm going to commit to everybody to doing, because we kind of screwed up the timing on this. We were really supposed to start when Jeff started 6 days previously, and we screwed it up, but that's okay. So here's what we're going to do. if you would like to join me in another round, I am going to start another round of the Kind Morning Challenge on Ash Wednesday, which is
a Lent
Wednesday.
version. A Lent version, which is what we originally, that's why it's 40 days. In fairness, we created the Kind Morning Challenge to be a Lent challenge. Yeah. So what day is Lent?
It's Wednesday, February 17th.
February 17th. Okay.
If you want to join us for the Lenten season, whether you're Catholic, whether you're not Catholic, I happen to be Catholic. Jeff is not. But it's a great way to measure, right? And then you finish it all up on, I don't think it's exactly 40 days, obviously, right? There's actually more than 40 days in Lent.
I think Lent is 40 days. I think that it's supposed to, because it ends on a Sunday and it always starts on a Wednesday. I think it literally is 40 days.
Easter Sunday is, we're going to figure this out right now, April 4th.
It's going to be 40 days after Ash Wednesday. I promise. It's 40 days for sure. But anyway, I might just do that. I'll have to think about that. I'm not sure I want to do a second Kind Morning 40 quite that quickly, but maybe I will.
Yeah, it's actually 44 days.
That's terrible. You Catholics have this stuff all wrong. It's supposed to be 40 days.
Okay, so it is supposed to be 40 days. So we're gonna just go from Ash Wednesday all the way to Easter, or Good Friday, whatever you want to do. But we're gonna do that. We'll restart. If you're still in the Kind Morning Challenge, keep going. But just know I'm gonna restart.
It probably is supposed to be 40 days until Good Friday every time, right? That's probably what it's supposed to be.
You know what? A couple years ago, so I've always thought that you're supposed to go Lent all the way through. And then my priest told me a couple of years ago, oh, actually Lent doesn't count on Sundays.
Yeah, that's what Veronica literally just said. They don't count Sunday.
Yeah. And I was like, I think that, yeah. So I think they don't count Sundays for the 40 days. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I was like, what? Jesus didn't go into the desert and then was like, oh, it's Sunday. I'm gonna head on back into Jerusalem and grab me some snacks and some water.
Hey, I gotta tell you, so there's two things. One, Veronica's so amazing. She's got this great tip for us that if you want a sauna experience, you can unload the dishwasher. But I want to tell you a story. So I went to Israel a few years ago. Obviously pre-COVID, when you could actually, although they're doing really good with vaccine rollout there, so maybe that'll be the first place we can go after that, right? But so I go to Israel and I went to Nazareth and I bought a shawarma on the street for it was the best shawarma I've ever had, literally chicken shawarma sandwich on the street in Nazareth. And so I actually wouldn't have blamed Jesus if he had come in from the desert on Sundays
just to get a shawarma?
To buy street food in Nazareth.
Where was wait a minute, when he went out to the desert, where was he near? Was he near Nazareth or was he near Jerusalem?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. Israel's so small. People don't realize how small it is. Granted, he would have been on foot or something instead of a car, but I rented a car in Jerusalem and you can drive from Jerusalem to Nazareth in 4 hours. And here's another one too. This is actually.
Did you hear what you just said? You can drive from Jerusalem to Nazareth in 4 hours, but how long does it take you to walk?
Oh yeah, 5 hours maybe. I don't know. It depends on how fast you walk and how slow you drive. No, I mean it's a little long. I get that it's a ways, but this is another thing, right? So there's a census declared, and they leave from the Sea of Galilee and go to Bethlehem, right? Mm-hmm. That seemed like a really long, arduous journey, the way it's described in the Bible. Yeah, it's a 3.5 hour drive. I mean, granted, it does take longer to walk. It probably took them. Yeah,
it might have been mountainous. It might have been hilly.
It's not very hilly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty flat. There are hills in between there, but the most direct route avoids them. And I based that on the fact that you just take the highway. I'm assuming that they hopped on the highway, right?
You don't know if there was brush or they cleared out hills or whatever.
There wasn't. They took the highway. I mean, they just jumped on the interstate and they went over there.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this Biohacking Saturday segment. Let us know in the comments below how you decided to biohack or incorporate any of these. I'm Jillian Sidoti. That is Jeffrey Holston. He's going to remind you of what, Jeffrey?
To live the very best version of your last life ever.